Today we are looking at the Mcfarlane Batman Forever Nightmare Batwave. Welcome back, everybody, and I'm super excited about these Batman Forever figures. I can't believe that Mcfarlane actually made them, but I think I had a little hope when I saw that Hot Toys did their own version of Batman Forever figures, so I knew these were coming eventually. Now, Batman Forever, I know maybe hasn't stood the test of time in people's eyes. I think actually probably more people like it now, but at the time, it really pissed a lot of people off. But this is when they did the full court press of just marketing. This movie was made for toys, and we got some really good ones back then, but not just the toys, the merchandise. This is peak Warner Brothers time, the Warner Brothers store, and I remember having this really cool sweater from Batman Forever. You know, we just had coloring books and all that other stuff, so really cool to get these, really nostalgic, and I'm really excited to crack them open and check them out. I won't waste too much time on packaging because they're pretty much all the same, so it just says collect to build, the Nightmare Bat, and then on the back of the box you get a cross-sell of the figures and then an image of the bat, and all of the boxes have the same exact thing, so really nothing to see there. So first initial thoughts, getting everything out of the box, everything looks great. There's a few things I love, there's a few things I don't love, but it comes with a lot of extra stuff, and we're going to go over these one by one. So first, let's start with the Riddler. First up, I'm looking at the Riddler. I'm not going in any order, but just the first one I grabbed, and I think this guy looks awesome. His face sculpt is on point for Jim Carrey. Great side profile. I love that they painted the black inside the mask. I think that's a really great detail. Glad they didn't miss that. But we did get a retro Riddler a couple months back, but he was on a buff buck and he was more comic inspired. So it's glad to see that they put him on a thinner buck. I think it really suits him well. So I'm not going to go over articulation with all these figures. He's really the only one that I feel like was in these crazy, weird poses in the movie. Jim Carrey was kind of wacky back then, kind of throwing himself all over the place. But if I'm thinking of the scene where he's in the Batcave and he's just blowing stuff up, he's crunched down a lot. So as long as I can get him into poses like that, I'll be happy. So just messing with his legs, I'm able to do that, and pretty excited about that. So this will be great for photography. I don't know if I could ever build like a Batman Batcave diorama, but it'd be pretty cool to have him like blowing it up and stuff. Comes with a figure stand, a file card, and then he does come with a set of extra hands. And then probably one of my favorite accessories is this Riddler bomb. So like I was saying before, this is what he had a little satchel of that he was throwing these all around the Batcave. I wish he would have came with that bag. And the Riddler staff is pretty awesome. However, it comes packaged in his hands. So this thing comes bent as hell whenever you take it out. So I might have to heat it up or just kind of pose it in a way that's not bending. But I wish they would have put that in like its own little separate tray. But other than that, it looks great, and I'm just wondering how many other looks of Jim Carrey could we get? He wore so many different outfits in that, but as a first iconic one, I think this one looks pretty cool. And he does come with the torso of the Nightmare Bat. This is not my favorite choice of Build-A-Figure. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'll talk about that later. But as far as the figure goes, I think this Riddler looks awesome, and they knocked him out of the park. Next up, looking at TwoFace, and again, for the price point, all the deco hits to this figure is pretty amazing. They nailed Tommy Lee Jones' face sculpt, and they definitely nailed the TwoFace side. So really cool. There's some nice wash on the actual head. The hairstyle looks pretty awesome. But look at that suit. Really cool detail on the tiger stripes, the pink tiger stripes, and then the white collar. But even the shirt underneath, they didn't skimp out on the paint on this, which is pretty awesome. So it was always one of my favorite figures as a kid. It just looked cool. And I'm just assuming this one has limited articulation because of the jacket, but not a problem. He really wasn't doing too much crazy stuff in that movie to get him in some nuts poses. But the coin that he comes with, the molded coin to his hand, that's pretty cool. Also nostalgia to the old figure where he had a molded gun. But the original Two-Face figure, I think, had a coin in his hand. It was like the size of a quarter. So it looked kind of ridiculous, but that looks awesome. So great detail on the back as well. Yeah, they really didn't skip out on this one. So this is going to be one that pops up on the shelf pretty well. The only detail that I think they left out, which is kind of sad, is I'm pretty sure that he's supposed to have a steel toe on his boot. They did such great work on the suit. I'm not sure why they left that off, but it's not the end of the world. He does come with a figure stand, a card, and then he comes with an extra set of hands, a trigger hand, but no guns, so Might have to find another one to put in his hand. And he does come with one of these wings, just a solid piece of plastic. It does have great detail. It's just kind of gross to look at. You can see all the veins in the wings, and then there's a ball joint that connects to the torso. And there's TwoFace, folks. Again, another welcome addition to the collection. So far, 2 for 2. I'm loving this wave. So great job on TwoFace. Now I am partial to Robin. Robin is my favorite DC character. I just love his design when they started making him look more tactical and ninja-like. And when I first saw Chris O'Donnell's suit, I remember just absolutely loving it. So really cool to finally get a figure like this. And there's some great detail. Chris O'Donnell's likeness looks fantastic. I love the mask, and you can't really see, but they did mold an R onto the middle of the mask, which was actually accurate to the film. So really cool. The yellow collar, also very accurate to the film. Love that they did that. And then they did some nice wash on his hair. So I do like this body overall. I think the paint, I would have chose some different colors, maybe some metallics. But this was also kind of the first Robin that had spikes on his gauntlets. I don't think he normally had those. So pretty cool. The belt detail, again, I think that was a design, maybe partially Nightwing, but I think it was more based on that Robin helmet that he had in the movie. And the R is very close to the Robin Reborn R, which I think at the time I was reading those comics. So for me, this one stood out a lot as far as design. And just loving the detail on the boots. They did a great job there. And my only gripe is the paint. It's a little flat. And I really think that's where they could have probably gone a little harder and used some metallic paints on that. I know sometimes with Marvel Legends or other figures, people don't like the pearlescent paint. I think it really would have suited here. Now, they did give him a cloth cape. It's kind of a basketball short material, so it's kind of strange, but it is wired, so you'll definitely be able to get that in some dynamic poses. So really happy about that. He comes with a figure stand, and of course he comes with the file card. Now this also brought me back to some memories. I remember on a family trip we stopped somewhere and got a pack of Batman Forever cards, but you can really see the R on the photo, and that's what I was talking about before. They actually sculpted that into the mask, so really awesome that they did that. Then he does come with some fisted hands, and they have that nice detail on the glove with the line work. That is pretty accurate to the film. And he comes with a pointed hand and an open hand, so nice variety there. And he comes with the other Batwing. Again, gross, great detail, but not for me. So while it's my favorite character, I think there's a few things just holding it back from being my favorite of the wave, but still a pretty great entry into the collection. So this is my first Val Kilmer Batman. I did skip out on that 6-pack because I knew that if they actually made the sculpt for it, of course they were going to re-release it again in its own wave. So I just had to bide my time. And like I was saying before with the Robin, you can see that they actually did use the metallic paint on this Batman. So why couldn't they have just done that with this Robin? I think that would have made this Robin probably perfect and my favorite of the wave. So just a small gripe. I think the Robin still looks good, but it shows that they did have the ability to do it since they did it with this Batman. But great detail on the Val Kilmer likeness. I think they really nailed that. And I love the sculpt on the cowl. It has those lines, kind of like air vents by the ears, even though they weren't open. And I don't remember the suit being two-toned. So the body kind of has this bluish hue to it, but I don't remember the cowl, the gloves, and the boots being black. So I'll have to go back and check references for that. But I do like that it's just not one solid color, so there is some variety to it. And this might have been kind of the final fight suit. I'm going to go back and watch the movie tonight, but lots of great detail on here, and again, from the sculpt to the boots, I think they did a really good job. I love the belt, but why did they not give us a wire cape with this Batman? So they're showing that they can do things with one figure, but then they skip out on another figure. So again, if you just would have put the wire onto this figure, I think then they would have nailed it, but skimped out there for some reason. Again, he comes with a base and the file card, and then he does come with some extra hands and some batarangs. So he has some pretty cool ones, this tiny one, and then, of course, this huge grappling hook, which this is where Joel Schumacher's movies got a little goofy because they had all these giant accessories but nowhere to keep them, but pretty cool to have. And he does come with this base that goes to the Nightmare Bat, and then to finish off the Build-A-Connect figure, whatever you call it, he does come with the head, has an articulated jaw. Again, great detail, just I don't know what we can do with this thing. So great sculpt overall. I think they cheaped out on the wire cape. I'm not sure why, but still going to look great next to the other figures, but probably my least favorite of the wave. And now messing with the Nightmare Bat, this monstrosity of a Build-A-Figure. Again, it's cool, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to like this in their display. I really don't want to have to deal with like hanging it up or anything. This thing has a massive wingspan, but did you like this? If you picked up this wave, is this something you were excited about? I do like that they're trying different things and giving us, more than just figures sometimes, but I don't know, it's just really not landing for me. I'm probably going to sell this off, so I'm not going to even try to get the figure in the base stand because it was just too hard. So I'm not going to break it. I'm just going to take it apart, and then this is going straight onto my eBay account. But yeah, getting that thing in, good luck. I think you might have to heat it up first. Now, while I do think this is not my cup of tea, I do understand the interest in it. I know there were some deleted scenes that would have featured the Nightmare Bat a lot more. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that in the final cut. So it is a pretty cool part of Batman lore. I just think there were some other characters I would have liked to have seen. So I would actually buy a whole completely new Batman Forever wave. I think the characters I'd love to see, Chase Meridian for sure. I would love to see a Commissioner Gordon. Wishful thinking, but Sugar and Spice I think would be awesome. And I think maybe the Two-Face gang would be really awesome. And then maybe round it out with giving us that Bane Build-A-Figure from the Batman and Robin wave that we didn't get. But what I'd really love to see is the Neon Gang member. Now, I've done this outfit at music festivals before. I've even based my logo for my YouTube channel off of this character. I would love to see this as an action figure, so please, McFarlane, let it happen. I'd love it. Now, somehow, I've held on to some of my childhood toys, and I have almost all of my Batman Forever toys. And they're still in pretty decent shape, but, I think this is where Batman toys started to change a little bit. So from the Batman Returns movies, pretty much your 5 points of articulation, but they pretty much had that solid up and down pose. They did start pre-posing some of these figures, like this Batman's a little different, and I think as far as movie waves go, this is the first time we got vinyl capes from Batman. Prior to that, we were getting cloth capes. This Robin that I have, he came with a vinyl cape, but I switched it out for a Batman the Animated Series Robin cape, just so it was black and yellow, because I think the one it came with was black. But you could see the pearlescent paint or the metallic paint on this one. Man, I really wish they could have just gone the extra mile. You can see I played with this one so much his fingers broke off, but definitely one of my most favorite Robin figures. And then the Two-Face, they nailed it all the way back then. This one came with a coin that when you flipped it, it actually made that like ringing sound, and he has that molded gun in his hand. So I might have to check out some weapons I have and give Two-Face a gun. And then Riddler was cool. He did come in that weird pre-pose with that thing that attached. There's like a backpack for like a brain scanner. But overall, these were my favorite figures. It was the first time we started getting a litany of Robin figures, and I love them. And here's a fun story. I mean, this figure is when I kind of lost a little bit of my imagination. I remember begging to get this deluxe Batman, and it was like $3 more, which was like a big deal back then. But I had this idea in my head that I wanted it so I can spread his wings out, and I don't know, I thought I could throw him like a paper airplane and he would glide. And I remember throwing it off like a top balcony, and it just hit the ground like a ton of bricks. So whatever vivid imagination I had of what I thought would happen did not. Now, don't know if anyone still has these mugs, but I went and rebought these a couple years ago. These are not my childhood ones, but I remember getting these and thinking they were so cool. I only wanted to drink out of these, but this was such a cool promotion. I think McDonald's did these for the Flintstones movie and was such a hit that they decided to do it again for Batman Forever. So the Two-Face mug, really cool, has the coins as the handle, pretty awesome. And then my favorite mug was, of course, Robin on the front, and then it had that R as the handle, and on the back it did have the Batmobile. So just a really cool promotion, and I don't think they do things like this anymore. My friend has all the Fry containers. He still has them framed, I think. This Batman mug, another cool one, has the Batarang on the handle, and then Lady Liberty on the side that gets destroyed in the movie. So pretty sweet there. And then the Riddler mug, which was also pretty cool. This one had the question mark handle, Riddler on the front, and then on the back, I think it had all of the different Enigma machines or whatever they were called. So definitely a cool addition to the collection. All right, folks, what did you think? Did you pick up this wave? Let me know down in the comments. There was no way I was passing up on this Batman Forever wave. I gave you my wish list, so if they came out with a wave 2, I'd 100% buy all of those figures that I mentioned. But for now, I think these are the 4 most iconic from the film. I'm glad we have them, and I can't wait to get these in a cool display. So having these next to my Batman and Robin figures, it's going to be really cool. Maybe we can start getting some Batman Return figures. So again, wishful thinking, but hope you enjoyed this episode, folks. As always, hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And until the next episode, catch you next time.